Hello and welcome to Atija, the program where we go back in the days to our secondary school days, those exciting times, those, you know, naughty days, those good old days. And we just go back in time to the days of our secondary schools. And most of us left secondary school decades ago, but then it's good to just go back and relive the experiences and the fun we had there somehow. So I'm your hostess for today. My name is Nana Shehu. I attended Air Force Girls Military School. I'm not even going to say where it is, but there's only one in Africa. So I attended Air Force Girls Military School. My service number is 88 stroke 0182. I have two other co-hosts with me here on the program today, and they're also ex-students of the military schools we have, the Air Force military schools we have in Nigeria. And we are called ex-JAW. That's those of us that went to the girls section. That's ex-junior airwoman. That's where I am, an ex-JAW. So with me on the program is an ex-JAM and an ex-JAW. So let's have the ex-JAM first introduce themselves.
All right. Hi, my name is Kayode Atobatele. I am an ex-junior airman of the Air Force Military School in Jos. And my NAF number, my Nigerian Air Force number, is AFMS 82/248. So I graduated in 1987. That will be 35 years ago.
Okay, good. Long time ago. Okay, another ex-JAW here in the house.
Hello, everyone. My name is Abisola Olabode. I'm also an ex-JAW, ex-junior airwoman, and I also attended the Air Force Girls Military School in Jos. My NAF number is 87/0060. I graduated from the school in 1992.
Okay. Actually, we say graduated, but really what we do is we pass out. We don't do the regular graduation, but we just want you guys to understand what we're saying out there. That's why we say graduated. But what we do is passing out parade. We don't just, it's not just go, bye-bye, bye-bye. It's a big deal. Okay, so I'm going to ask my co-host some questions, and so that you get to know, those of you out there listening and watching, you get to know what exactly goes on in the military school. Because most of you do not know what happens in military schools, especially you wonder, isn't it just a secondary school? Why are you guys saying you went to military school? Why don't you call your school a secondary school? Because it's really not a secondary school, but then you're not going to hear from me alone. So let's start. Oga K, now this is it. Those of us that went to military school, we never call our seniors by name. No. Your senior is your senior, even in heaven. That's what we say. So as you can see, Oga Kayode is my senior. And the ex-JAW here is also my senior. I had one set of seniors and she is among them. So everybody's senior. These are Oga that I'm going to be saying because hey, I cannot plant. And if you don't know what planting is, just forget it.
If you don't get it, forget it.
Yes, if you don't get it, forget it. Okay, so okay, you first. Why did you attend the Air Force Military School in the first place?
Yeah, good question. I wish I had all these really nice things to say. Maybe it had very high standards and all that. But in reality, I just love the uniform. That really is. There was a blue uniform. So first person I saw wearing an Air Force uniform was my uncle. He came to visit. I think I was 7 years old. He was wearing the Air Force tunic, the blue tunic, right? With the gold buttons and then the gold crown. And I saw that. And, of course, the rank, he was a flying officer. I saw that. I just fell in love with the whole combination. I loved it. And then I think a couple years later, he brought the form and said, oh, there's the Air Force Military School that is being started. At this point in time, I tried to get in with the second set. So that was the first time I took the entrance exam. I took the entrance exam twice. So I actually tried to get in twice. It was on my second attempt that I got in. But he brought it. And what he said to my dad, who was actually a university lecturer at the point in time, so it was unusual for someone like me from a university campus environment to go to a military setting. But how he convinced my dad was the fact that there was going to be primary flying training as part of it, and that basically they were training the students to become officers in the Nigerian Air Force later on. So everything about it was just so good. that I took the exam, and I was really serious about getting in. So apparently I studied more than any other one, and I passed. And then I went for the interview, and then I saw the photos. They had group photos that were in the rooms where we had our interviews. Now, the original students were on vacation, but those photos were just beautiful. I mean, they were wearing complete uniforms. They looked like, small soldiers, they were really sharp, right? Sharp. And I was like, I want to be one of these guys. So that basically reinforced my desire to go, so that when I didn't make it in the first time, I was willing to take the exam again. And this time I remember praying as a 10-year-old that, and I was very upset with God, because after my oral interview, I thought I failed. And I was like, why?
Okay, so what you're saying is, to get into the school, there has to be a common entrance and an interview.
So there was a common entrance. There was a common entrance, and I think in the city where I took it, basically almost, it was the whole school. There were 2 centers, and that was just in one city. So the common entrance is across the whole nation. And they bring a bunch of people from every state in Nigeria. To interview, and out of every state in Nigeria, they choose only 6.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
so
during your time,
it was 6
so
from
it's
every
based
state.
On merit.
It was based on whatever it was. It was a very, very tough competition to get in, right?
In.
Because
you did get in the second time around.
I did get in the second time, because if you think about it, there are so many people that want their kids to be there. So there are more people who basically have all the connections in the world that want their kids to be there, right? How do you choose 6 out of that? So it really still was very competitive.
You got in second time around.
I got in the second time, just by the skin of my teeth.
So, Senior B, let's hear your own experience. Why did you attend the military school in the first place?
Okay, so for me, it was a case of my mom was in the Air Force, and they heard about this new school that they were about to start, which was a military school for girls. And my mom and her friend just decided that they will allow myself and her friend's daughter to try out the exams. We tried it out, and I was in primary 4 at the time. So it wasn't as if I was actually ripe to go to secondary school. I was going to try in primary 5, but I was in primary 4, and my mom was like, just give it a try. And we tried. We both aced it. We went for the interview, we passed. And it then became a case of deciding if they actually wanted us to go, if we were matured enough mentally and physically and all of that. They eventually decided that they would give it a try, because they spoke to the first commandant, who was HR Garba, and she encouraged them to say, look, I'm here, they'll be fine, allow them come and all of that. So that was how I ended up at the school. Yes.
Okay. So it was like a rite of passage. You were with the Air Force Primary School, your mother was in the Air Force, so it was just like a...
Yes, I attended everything Air Force right from the onset. I actually started at Air Force Primary School in Victoria Island. And when my mom was transferred to Kaduna, I then transferred to Air Force Primary School, Kaduna. So like when I got there, I actually saw a lot of familiar faces. I'd either met you in Lagos, Air Force Primary School in VI, or we were in Kaduna or something like. So it was like family being there.
So
you'd always meet someone. Exactly.
You were used to the uniforms. It wasn't
No.
Okay, fine. At this point, I think we're just going to take a quick musical break and we'll be right back. Remember, the program is Atijo, the program that takes you back in the days of your secondary school days. And then today we're talking about military school, the Air Force military schools in Jos. I am host today, and my name is Nana. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back to Atijo, your number one old school days program. The program takes you back in the days to your secondary school days, where you had fun and you really didn't see the negatives of life. Did you ever see negatives in school? No, it was just fun and it was good old days. So this is the program that takes you back in time. The next question, today I have two people with me, and we all attended the Air Force military schools in Nigeria. I'm Nana Shehu, and with me once again is
Kayode Atobatele.
and
I'm Abisola Olabode.
okay. So I'm going to throw out another question to you right now, and that is there any experience that stays with you till date from those days? Because both of you have left the school for at least 30 years, 3 decades at least.
Mhm.
Is there anything that's happened then that is still with you till date, that stayed with you, that never left? Maybe something that an experience you witnessed in school, but then it had an impact on you and it's still there right now.
Yeah, there's an impact. There's an experience. I think it's a culmination of the training I received
Okay.
while I was there. It's just part of how we are built. First of all, you are broken down completely, and then you are rebuilt.
Yes.
Now, when they break you down, some of the things they take away from you is the sense of self.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically when they rebuild you, you start thinking in terms of team, you start thinking in terms of group. And for that, up till date, me and my classmates are like brothers, actually. Actually, we're not like brothers, we are brothers.
Brothers, yeah.
We continually look out for each other, no matter where you are in the world. If one of your brothers is anywhere around there, you are likely, very highly likely to reconnect. And basically you become family. So to a lot of my brothers, I am an uncle to their kids. They introduce me as uncle, to, if their parents are alive, they adopt me as their son. Right, that's the parents of my own friend. So that's basically, that's been the relationship. So it's taught me, that has stayed with me, that if you have had the privilege of having the same training, you automatically become family to me.
Yeah.
Right.
So it made you just like, it's a team. It made you form a team.
It's a family thing, right? It's a family, and you think all the time about the good of the family, the good of the team, much more than the good of the individual.
Okay.
And then the number two is just the I'll say the discipline.
Okay.
And the discipline part of it was also in building us back up. We're built to think that there was nothing that we could not achieve. So much so that the motto of the school was strive to excel.
Okay.
So it never crosses my mind till date that if I fail, that's my final state.
Okay.
If I fail at anything, it basically makes me go after it some more.
Okay.
And that's just from my experience growing up and my training.
Okay. So anything like, whenever life pushes you down, you just bounce back up.
It is an opportunity to excel.
Okay.
So it's not over. It is not over till I get the right answer that I want, which is yes.
Okay, that's a nice one.
That is something I got from attending school. Yeah.
That's really nice. Senior B, is there something like that for you too?
Oh yes. So the first thing is smartness. That hasn't left me till date, and consciously and unconsciously, I'm passing that down to my children. I like an environment, or I like to deal with people that are smart, even if you're not. Somehow I get to kind of like instill that to you, to say, look, you have to be smart about this. Move, pick up your feet, do this, don't just drag and procrastinate on things and all of that. Secondly, I'll also say, and which is very, very important, something that I picked and is still applicable till date, and I don't think it will ever leave me, is respect for authority and hierarchy. Respect for authority, whether in, a corporate setting, even in the home front, everywhere, like even if it's any setting where I find myself, I always make sure that I consciously respect authority. Even if the person is younger than I am, it's just something that has become a part of me, and I always make sure that I give respect to authority and I respect hierarchy in any environment where I find myself. So those two things are very key, and those were some of the things I picked up.
You took away from the school. And do
Oh,
you
yes.
also expect that while you respect hierarchy, you expect, all that respect for authority and all that, do you expect it in return? Do you expect to give in the way you give? And if you're not giving, sorry, this is a digression, but if you're not giving, is there something wrong?
So that you see, those are some of the things that that are kind of like peculiar to the fact that you attended the military school. And I don't want to see it from the negative perspective. I'd rather see it from the positive perspective.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes across as being overbearing. Like you're expecting too much, or the standard is too much.
Yeah.
But hey, it's something that has been imbibed in me, and I find it difficult to let go of. I always expect it in return. So sometimes it comes across as if the expectation is too high.
Yeah, but just
that is when you want to say that again, please.
I said that's just the way you are.
Exactly, and it's there's a standard kind of.
Yes.
Albeit consciously or unconsciously.
Just has to be there.
I'm not saying it's absolute. It's not cast in stone.
I mean, expect.
Yes, the expectation is always there. Whether it now meets up is a different thing, but at least there's a minimum standard that you're expecting. Yes, that's it. Yes.
Okay, so that's it. Part of what both were saying, I mean, both of you were saying similar things. So this school obviously pushed a lot of things into you that is extraordinary. So on this point, just keep the thoughts in check. We're going to take a musical break. I'll be right back. Okay, so remember, those of you viewing, this is Atijo, and it's the program that takes us back in the days to our secondary school days. Don't go nowhere. We welcome back to Atijo, your program that takes you back in the days, the program that takes you back to your secondary school days when life was good and jolly and nothing but fun. I am your regular hostess, as always, Nana, and the other two co-hosts.
Oh, I'm Coyote.
Okay.
I'm Bisola Olabode.
Okay, so today we're talking about our experiences in the military schools. We all attended the Air Force military schools in Nigeria. And one more question I'm going to throw out to both of you is this. Oga Kaide, you first. What was unforgettable? What experience did you pass through in school that was just totally unforgettable? Even now, you can just remember it like it's happening right now in front of you. What was that experience?
Well, that's actually a really good question. An unforgettable experience for me. I'll say, let me rephrase that to how it applies to me. I'll say teachable moments for me.
Okay.
Was the fact that when I was going to Air Force military school, my experience with life was only the Ibadan, Lagos. And so there were stereotypes about other Nigerians, right? There are stereotypes about other Nigerians. So, and that's all I knew. Now, remember, I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
When I got to Air Force military school, and that's a privilege, I would say, that very few Nigerians have, where you actually get to mix with 6 people from every state in Nigeria. So I mixed with all Nigerians.
Okay.
It was when I got there that basically, like I said, they break you down completely and start to rebuild you. That everything about the stereotypes of other Nigerians was taken away from me, totally dissolved. And now I started to see people by only the content of their character. And that has not left me till date. So it is not uncommon that when my cousins or friends who have not had the privilege to interact with all of Nigeria are making comments that I always seem to take the other side and talk about only the content of the character of the person involved. To those people, it's weird, But to me, I was privileged to interact with everybody at a young age. So I see people for who they are, not necessarily the stereotype that has been cast on them. That has stayed with me such that in the bigger society, where I am now supposed to basically adapt to the rest of the world, and the fact that things and people are different, it's easier for me to basically relate with more people. So that's the key thing, actually, I'll say I've taken away, and that has stayed with me till date. Okay.
But is there a particular incident you could tell us about relating to this, or maybe another one related to something else?
There are so many. The question is, how much time do we have? My closest, so for example, it was it was strange to me that somebody from the northern part of Nigeria was speaking Yoruba fluently, right? Okay, I don't want to mention names because I have to get his permission, but you know, his state of origin was somewhere Maiduguri.
Okay.
Right. So all these things were just totally weird to me. That's not what my 10-year-old self had as information. So I started to realize that people are just people, period.
Okay.
Right. Fine. So I mean, and like I said, there's so many instances that were moments in which I realized that if I think back, those were moments in which I started to realize that the person is a person and has certain characters and has nothing to do with what language he speaks or what language he grew up on, and that families are the same also. So when I started to go out to the homes of my friends who were from that area, right, I realized that families were the same. They had siblings who were troublemakers. They had parents who always worried about them. That
there's always the black sheep.
It was always, yes, and that there was always I just realized that the pattern is still the same. That dressing could be different, but then the pattern is the same.
Okay, thank you very much. Senior B, any particular incident that never left you, that stay with you till date?
Okay, so if we're to talk of experiences, I had so many experiences in the school, but overall, I'll just before I give you, instances of experiences that I had, overall, I'll summarize it by saying that the school helped me to appreciate my freedom and access to privileges that I took for granted.
Yeah.
Privileges like having access to provisions, just your freedom to be able to do anything you want. Say that again. I beg your pardon.
A tin of milk to yourself, a carton
exactly, and you could always walk into your parents' kitchen to have anything you wanted. This was very restricted. Sometimes there were times where they were even banned. So we didn't even have access to things like that. Your freedom, saying, mommy, I'm going out to ride my bicycle, just things that you take for granted. So I'll just summarize it by saying that. But in terms of experiences, there were so many of them. And I'll just give you a very typical one. Throughout my stay in the school, I only got a chance to go on outing once. Not due to any other reason other than the fact that for some reason I always got in trouble during the week that we were meant to go on outing. And my name always came out on that list for some reason. Not like I was a very naughty or troublesome child.
Troublemaker, but somehow,
but for some reason I always. So it was just so unfortunate that I never got a chance except once to go. So that when you see other children, go out, when they call them, their parents come and they go out, and then you're just in the hostel alone and waiting for people to come back and hand you things. So things like that make you appreciate the things that we would usually take for granted.
Yes.
And what is outing, just for the sake of those who don't know what outing is, you just say it like people know.
Outing is that one special day during the term where your parents or relatives could come into the school to take you out to just have a good time for a couple of hours and then bring you back to school. So Yes.
Because
many
I
were
really
there
don't
in
think
time.
they do outing anymore in the
Oh,
school.
really?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Maybe
But
maybe it's
other,
just visiting now. Back then we had visiting and then we had outing.
Yeah.
yes, then
Now,
Yes, we had
for those who don't know, actually, there's in a whole term of 3 months, there is one day every month where you're allowed to leave the school and go out to the city and probably come back before a certain
during your
time.
time, okay, because during
Yeah.
that time was one day
once
in a
a
term.
term.
All right. So, that means it changed. Then there's
changed.
also one day where your parents are allowed to visit you for the whole term. So
Yeah.
just for the sake of those who don't know, when you say outing, what do you mean by outing?
Outing or visiting.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I thought it was something.
Yeah, but I don't think they do it anymore these days. Just visiting.
Oh,
So it's just
okay.
one day in a term that is visiting, to the best of my knowledge, at least for, I think so. But no, I will have to confirm that.
Oh, okay.
That also makes sense, actually, because of the security
Yes,
situation.
I think that's what
Situation,
brought
yeah.
that. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what happened. That's what caused that.
Kind
Because
of
they just
Mm.
want to be
let them
sure
go
the
out.
children are safe. In fact, during the lockdown, during the COVID, main saga, now it's easing off. A lot of things are easing off. During then, they even banned visiting. Visiting wasn't even allowed.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because they weren't sure the people coming to visit the children were COVID free.
Free.
But they made sure the children are COVID free, and they wanted to be sure they're COVID free. So that was a big thumbs up for me. To the Nigerian Air Force for me. Some parents were mad about it, but I think it was a good thing. They need
Oh, yeah.
the students are the number one priority.
Mhm.
Okay, so anyway, I think we're going to just round up here, because I know if I give you all the time in the world, and including myself, we're going to be here for hours, because the experiences, you just can't 6 years of experience just in 90 minutes. No. So, but we're going to do this again another time. We're going to continue from where we stopped. But for today, this is how far we can go on the program at Tijo. Remember, it's the program that takes you back in the days into, the good old days, the secondary school days. And we're going to be here again, same time next week on the same program. So let's have our goodbyes. Let's start with the lady this time around, Senior B.
It's been nice being here and sharing with you. It's always fun to share experiences and just go back in time. We hope to see you again next time. Once again, I remain Abisola Olabode. My NAF number 87/0060. Take care. Bye.
All right. And always a pleasure to be here to talk about these experiences. Like you said, there's so much that there's not enough time to express it all. But thank you for this, and thank you for the privilege to be able to share our experiences with the world. So same thing, NAF number 82/248.
Okay, and from my side, this is Nana Shehu, XJOR 88/0182, wishing you the best of what you wish yourself, and telling you have to be here again next week on the program at Tijo. Stay blessed.